Hey y'all, I'm Brandon, and today on Baking with Brandon, we're doing one for my Filipino Kapamilya. We're baking Ube Butter Mochi. Butter mochi is a dessert that's popular all over Hawaii and Japan. Growing up Filipino, it's similar in texture to some of the stuff I had, like cassava, but also in taste to something like bibingka. Butter mochi itself has a really delicate butter flavor, but it also has flavors of coconut. And I'm gonna boost those flavors today by also adding in ube extract. Ube is a super popular flavor all over the Philippines. It has that unmistakable purple color, and it's made from taro root. Ube Butter Mochi is the perfect dessert to bring to a potluck or a family gathering or even a work event. The purple color always has people asking, what is that? When people try it, they're gonna love the texture and the flavor, and of course, they're gonna wonder how you made it. So when they do ask, send them to my video. Okay, let's jump into the recipe. Here's everything you're gonna need to make the Ube Butter Mochi. You can check the description below for the exact measurements and the detailed recipe. We're gonna start off by creaming our sugar and our melted butter in a bowl. Now, for some reason, I was feeling extremely brave today, and I decided that I would try to whisk this together instead of using a standing mixer. That was a huge mistake. Don't do that. I would definitely use a standing mixer if I was doing this again. The reason you want to use a standing mixer is because you really want to get that texture smooth, and you're going to run into issues like this if you're using a whisk. Next, we're going to mix in our eggs. Now, despite the mistakes that I made, the eggs actually help the creamy texture come together. So even if you don't have a standing mixer and you have to use a whisk, you're going to be fine when you add those eggs in. We're then going to incorporate our extracts, so the vanilla and the ube extract. Now, the ube extract has a really strong purple color, and you want to be really careful when you're mixing that in. You don't want to get it all over the countertop because it might stain. Everything's coming together really nice. I'm just gonna give my bowl a little scrape down. Next, we're gonna alternate our milks and our dry ingredients. So I'm starting with my evaporated milk, and after that, I'm gonna add in my baking powder. The flour that we're using is called mochiko flour. Now, mochiko flour is a brand of flour. It is not the only option you have. You can use any sweet glutinous rice flour. The flour gives the mochi its texture, so you don't want to use regular flour. You want to make sure it's that glutinous rice flour that you're using. And mochiko is really easy to find, so it's a good brand to use. As the mochiko flour starts to absorb into the liquid ingredients, you're going to take your time to whisk. It might be a little difficult at first, but it will all come together. Then you're going to add in your coconut milk. The coconut milk is going to again add to the flavor of the mochi, and of course it's going to pair so well with the ube that we put into the mix. While we preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, we're going to set up our pans. Super standard setup here. I like to use parchment paper. When I do set up the parchment paper, I want the ends sticking out like this, because when the mochi is out of the oven and it's rested, this is going to give me a really easy opportunity to pull the mochi out of the pan and to make sure it doesn't stick. Now we're going to super carefully pour our batter into the pan. The batter is quite liquid at this point, so you're not going to have a hard time getting it into the pan and making sure you have an even layer. I have the spatula there just in case I want to smooth it over at the end, but not too difficult to get it out of the bowl and into the pan. Last thing I want to do is spread some shredded coconut on the top. Now, I love shredded coconut, so I'm going to go kind of wild, live my Salt Bae fantasy. Boom, call me Coconut Bae. We want to bake this in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour. So our Ube Butter Mochi is out of the oven. We're going to go ahead and give it a taste. Wow. Oh, wow. The butter's definitely there, but the ube adds so much flavor. It pairs so well with the coconut milk. The texture is crazy. It's just like cassava. It's so good. I love the coconut on top. If you're the kind of monster who doesn't like fresh coconut, you can leave it off, but I think it just adds to the flavor. It makes it taste so much better. Ube Butter Mochi is the perfect recipe for anyone who wants to impress their friends, their family, their coworkers. And if you're looking for a recipe that's really easy, but is super impressive when it comes out, with amazing flavors that pair really well together, Ube Butter Mochi is a dessert I think everyone should try. Thank you for watching the video. Go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. When you do try the recipe on your own, leave me a comment and let me know how it went. Thank you for watching the video, and of course, thank you for baking with Brandon.